then get
Yep,
and
you're live
tell
right
me.
now. So hold on.
Okay.
Greetings, everyone. This is Yoftahe Mulatu from the Yoftahe Show. Today, we are live again on Wednesday night. Today is a series of the mindset, use mindset that we're going to be talking about. I have 3 U's with us, and then I have Dr. Mallet that's going to be here to share her experience and what she has gone through. And then as a title, as we have it, design the life you want to live. Because everything has to be by design. It's not just, we're not leaving everything to chances. So we'll be going through that. So let me start with Dr. Mallet. Thank you, Dr. Mallet, for accepting the invitation to the Yoftahe Show. And I'm so honored to have you here. For those who don't know you, if you can tell us a little bit about yourself.
First of all, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. So just a little bit about myself. I am actually from Inglewood, born and raised in Inglewood, California. So for those of you who don't know Inglewood, it's where the Lakers play basketball. It's where the new Rams Stadium is being built right now. So not too far from the LAX airport, just born and raised here. I have over 20 plus years of experience in education, entertainment, and business. I love to empower people to use their passion, their experience, and to take that and monetize and make change in the world. So that's a little bit about me.
Thank you, Dr. Mallet. And then we have Ms. Ghana. Ms. Ghana, if you can tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, my name is Miss Ghana Araya. I'm a freshman in college. I go to the University of Tennessee at Knoxville, and I am a neuroscience major as well as a student athlete here.
Thank you, Ms. Ghana. Rosie, if you can introduce yourself.
Hi.
Are you muted? Oh, go ahead.
And I'm originally from Ethiopia, but now I live in Maryland, Silver Spring. I'm a sophomore in high school currently right now.
Thank you, Rosie. And then we have Addis.
Hello, salam everyone. My name is Addis Alemayehu Gonte. I'm from Dallas, Texas. Originally born in Ethiopia and have been a native Texan since the age of 4. And I'm also a recent college graduate from UNT with a focus in marketing, sociology, and rehabilitation studies. And I also just began my own nonprofit organization called Able Mindset. And what a coincidence! Today's topic is covered on Able Mindset.
Thank you. We'll be having Addis on the show to talk about everything that he has gone through. He has a journey that all of us need to learn from, how he overcame so many hurdles and here. So I'm proud of all of you being here. So let me get started with Dr. Mallet, and then you guys you'll be able to have to ask her questions then. Dr. Mallet, so for anybody that who's looking, sometimes they just look at success and they forget that people started from some kind of challenge. Nothing was given. So there is hard work involved to it. So to get us, what are the people, when they look at what you're doing on stage or successful, before they look at that, so that they don't dismiss themselves, what are the teaching for people need to understand to be able to not just focus on the person who's successful in front of them?
Well, I think that is a great question, because behind every individual, there is a story. Sometimes you see the finished product. You see, after a cake is being made, you just see the end result. You don't see everything that went into making that cake the beautiful masterpiece that it is. It's like, or a diamond, you don't see what that diamond had to go through in order to transform, in order to be great. So I look at my life like that. And I actually was born to 14 and 15-year-old parents, which, a lot of people wouldn't believe that, but I didn't even know I was born to 14 and 15-year-old parents. That's a whole nother story. So my life has not been a bed of roses. I was actually given up. I was adopted. I went through a lot of bullying when I was young. My brother that I grew up with, he was actually killed. He was murdered in a drive-by shooting. So there's just so many challenges that I have had to overcome in my life. And that's only just a small piece. But the thing about those challenges that I have had, I believe I've had the ability to look at some of those life-altering challenges. Some of those challenges would have ended some people, but I reframed every single challenge that I've had. I created sort of a system in order to cope with this, to make myself successful and to keep on going. So I would say the main thing when you have a challenge, those are the things. I made up this quote: no one can climb to the top of a smooth mountain. How do you get to the top? If it was smooth and there were no bumps, you would continuously fall down. You would slide back down. How do you climb to the top of a ladder that doesn't have steps? You have to have something. So it's reframing those things that you go through and looking at it in a way that it's not a bad thing, but it's forming you into that diamond, into that person that you were created to be. And we were all created to be something great. So it's just finding out and discovering what that is.
Thank you. So as a follow-up with that one, I think you instilled it in a nice way. You may be successful right now, but you started in a very, call it sometimes even unconventional or really a hurdle that you passed through. So what was the moment, like instead of giving up, you made a decision at some point to say, I know I can do better than this. What was the switch? What helped you to get what I call, maybe if I can use the word, broken, or where we could be, where we can give up? What was the switch for you? At what point did you decide I need to do better, or I am better?
So I went to film school at the highly acclaimed AFI, American Film Institute. So I studied storytelling and filmmaking and movie making quite a bit. So what we would call that is a defining moment in a person's life. So there were many defining moments in my life, I think, that empowered me to transition or propelled me to, greater heights, to the next step in life. One of those moments would be, for me, is the birth of my daughter. And she's currently 14, but when she was born, I knew that I had to be great. I had to be a model of excellence for her. And at that point, I knew I had this young life watching everything that I was doing. And our children are the future. They are everything. So I wanted to be great for her. So I knew from that moment, that was my defining moment in my life for me, where I knew I had to do everything and be great for her so I could be a model for her. So everyone has to have a why. If it's not personal to you, if it doesn't make you cry, I once heard your why must make you cry. You have to have a reason to be great, a reason to want to be successful, to climb that bump to get to the top of the mountain.
Thank you. I love that. I think your wife is watching and she's saying we are them. I love this. So that's your wife
Oh yeah, that's her.
So we love you too. So definitely we'll have you on the show too. We're gonna have so much to talk about you. But so for those who are watching, this is the Yoftahe Show. We are live on YouTube Live and Facebook Live. So please share this with your friends and family so that they can also learn from this. So speaking of why, you take me to the next question. How do you understand, because finding that why sometimes it might take a while. So how do people can find that why in order to decide, or how do you choose that why?
Well, I think it's a different process for everyone. So I can only say what worked for me. And like I said, just looking back over my life, that was a defining moment for me. And looking at her in her eyes, she's watching now, but that's the thing that made me cry and made me want to be better. So that why is the thing that gets you out of bed every day. That why is the thing that when everything is hard, you get up anyway and you do it anyway. So say your goal is simply, I want to lose 20 pounds. You have to have a strong enough why to get you up and get you out of bed each and every day, because some days maybe it's snowing outside, maybe it's cold, maybe you don't want to eat a salad, maybe you don't want to have vinegar on your lettuce. Whatever it is, you have to find out what that why is for you, and it's different for everyone. But I would say the common thread, the common theme is your why must make you cry. So if your health is on the line and you know you have to lose 20 pounds, chances are you're going to do it. If it's important enough to you, you will do it. So that is one way that I would say that you will know that is your why.
I think you bring me to that why. There is a story that I want to share with all of you. There was a father that he was told every single day that he needed to lose weight. He was overweight, and but he didn't listen. He said, "Yeah, I'm going to keep trying it. I'm going to keep trying it." And then one day, one of his daughters ended up having a kidney failure, and then she needed a kidney transplant. So everybody in the family, everyone ended up taking blood tests, and then after the result, the other kids came in. The other one was in the hospital, and they came in and told the father, "Dad, we have good news and bad news." And then he said, "What are the good news and what are the bad news?" I said, "You are the match. You'll be able to donate a kidney. What's the bad news? You are 55-pound overweight. They cannot do the surgery. So what do I have to do? You have 6 months or less than that to be able to lose it." And that father made sure, and he lost it, and he was able to be the match. So just like you said, that why needs to make you cry. Just like you said, why you're doing it. It's not just about because you read it. It's not because you feel like you just have to do it. You believe, you connect with it, and then you'll be able to accomplish anything. So I really love that you just said that.
Yes.
Questions for you again, Dr. Mallet. You decide to do all of this, and then you may be surrounded by people that tells you because of A, B, C, D, you're not able to accomplish so many things. So how do you pick the people that can cheer you, support you, and the no's and the naysayers that surround you and say you cannot accomplish, or that can pull you back? Sometimes they don't do it with bad intentions because they don't know better. So how do you pick who to surround yourself with?
Oh, I love that question. And this is a conversation that I have with my daughter Basia all of the time. When people give you advice, look at their life. If you buy their opinion, you buy their lifestyle. So if you like their lifestyle, then sure, go ahead and listen. You can give me all of the advice in the world. I will take it in. I will follow and do exactly what you did. If you have the lifestyle that I want, I will do it. If you do not have the lifestyle that I deem as, you're an expert in this area and you can add value to my situation in this area, then thank you for your thank you. Thank you. I will gladly say thank you, but I just won't listen. So, like for example, I have a doctorate of education in organizational leadership. Someone who has not gone through that process, they cannot tell me how to go through the process and become successful because they've never done it. Now, I am the type of person, I learn from everyone. I can take little nuggets from every single person. But if someone hasn't done what they're trying to tell you you can't do, then don't listen. Don't listen. That's just bottom line. Don't listen. So
I'm going to ask you one more question, then I'm going to come to Ms. Ghana, then Rosie, and Addis. I'll let you ask questions. So one more question. Just that goes hand to hand with don't listen, because you cannot give what you don't have, and you cannot pour from an empty cup. So how do you keep your cup full, or how do you, before you give, or how do you educate, or you keep your information as much as you know so that you are able to give? So what do you do? What are the processes for it?
Oh, another great question. So I have a lot of information in myself. Like I have a lot of experiences. So for me, whatever I give, whatever information I do share, it's not, theory per se. It's things that I have lived. It's things that I've been through. So I like to speak from experience because there's a truth and authenticity to that. I'm not lying about whatever advice I'm giving. So when I pour into people, it's from a place of been there, done that. I can authentically say, if you do this, just like what I said, don't listen to people that haven't done it. I can authentically say, this is how you do this, and this is how you can be successful. Another thing that I like to do is ask people questions. I like to get people to kind of get their own creative juices going. So if I can ask you a question to empower you to find your own solution, that's another strategy that I use with people. So
thank you very much. Definitely understanding that. Ms. Ghana, let me come to you. You've been listening so far. So what question do you have for Dr. Mallet?
Hi, Dr. Mallet.
Hi.
I just wanted to ask you, what do you suggest for someone to do who doesn't exactly know what they want to do for a career when they're like out of college and they don't know what to do with their degree? How do you find like your interests after that point?
Okay, so that's a great question. Let me tell you, there are people that are 30, 40, 50 that don't know what they want to do. So whatever you select, whatever you choose, just know that's what you're doing right now. You don't have to keep doing the same thing for your entire life. So whatever you want to do, I say go ahead and do it. And don't look at it as a life sentence that this is what you have to do for your entire life. Like I said earlier, right out of college, I started off in the film industry. Well, actually, I was in music. I did music first, then I did film. So you can do different careers. You don't have to do one thing. So explore, see what you like to do, and go from there. So try different things. That's the only way you will know if you are doing the right thing and if you enjoy it. You have to try it.
Thank you for that. Rosie, next question goes to you.
Thank you. So my first question is, so I before this have been really interested in joining the business field, but I've had a very hard time trying to know where exactly I should start or where to begin my entering this field. And I just wanted to know if you had any pointers on how exactly or where to start.
So I would start off just looking at things that you are interested in. If you have a person who has the ideal life, look at that person, see what they're doing. Is there anyone out there like that that you can think of that has the ideal life that you would like to have?
Yes, actually.
Okay, so who is that person? Is it like a
My
known?
father.
Okay, so look at your father, right? See what he does each and every day. Ask your dad. You're in a perfect situation because he's right there with you. You can ask him any question that you want. See what he does. See how he's gotten to the point to where he is, and then see if you can intern with him. Ask him to hire you. The summer is coming up. He can put you to work. See if you really enjoy that work.
Yeah.
And then if that's not your cup of tea, find another person who you would like to model or emulate. For me, I found myself a mentor. I believe it's very important to have a mentor who can lead you and guide you along the way. Joe Bauer, he's been one of the best mentors I've had. I've had Dr. Diane Kelly and David LeGrand, who was my acting teacher. So I've had three very strong mentors who have molded and shaped me into the person that I am, and my current mentor is Joe Bauer. The other two have since passed on. So, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
With that question, Dr. Mallet, let me ask you before I go to Addis. We all need mentors. So how do you pick the right mentor? Because you definitely have to have different kind of understanding, because you may need one for financial, you may need one for spiritual health. So how do you pick the right mentor?
I would say study that person that you are looking to potentially connect with. See if that person has successful students that you would like to emulate, and see if you connect with and gel and vibe with that person. It has to be someone who is of like mind. So if they're not of like mind, then it might not be someone that you want to be mentored by. But if they have a lot of beliefs and values that are similar to you, if you're big on spending time with your family, or taking vacations with your family, and that's what they're all about, then that's the person for you. I think intuitively who's right for you because you have a good feeling about that person. So
Thank you. Addis, you, what's your question for Dr. Mallet?
Hello again, Dr. Mallet. Thank you again for your time. And the question I was hoping to get an answer was, what was your first career after graduating from college? And what was your biggest takeaway from that experience?
Ooh, I love that question. Okay, so my first career, so let me just go back a little bit. When I was in college, I did several interns. So that's another way for you guys to kind of get your feet wet to see what you want to do. I interned in sports marketing, and I interned for a record label, which was Polygram Group Distribution at the time. And Polygram was the distributor for Motown, A&M, Def Jam, so Island, so many artists, Jay-Z at the time, all of Motown, everybody that's on Motown, U2, all of the big artists, like anybody who's anybody, I had an opportunity to work with and market their albums. So that was a lot of fun for me. So right out of college, they hired me. So that was my very first job. And what I learned on that job was relationships are key. The people that you surround yourself with, and some of those people today are my best friends today. And that I won't tell you how long ago, Pedro. Anyway, you get the point. But your relationships, my biggest takeaway, you want to have good relationships and maintain your relationships with people, because you never know how those relationships will support you as you go throughout your life. So we're like sisters and brothers to this day, a lot of those people that I worked with.
That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
You touched up a little bit on it, and then because I just want to build on that, what you just talked about. Nowadays, as you can see, the teenagers, it's like sometimes like it feels like there is no guidance in some areas, and we see them getting into a lot of trouble. So what do you think? Is it failing? Is it from the parents, school system, the community? What is failing sometimes? Because we always say it takes a village to grow, to raise a child. But I feel like sometimes there is a big disconnect somewhere. So from your experience, from what you have seen, what do you think is missing?
Well, I can't say that there's any one thing that this is to blame, that's to blame, because there's so many people that go through those same systems or that have those same experiences, and they are successful. So what makes one person successful, what makes another person kind of just phone it in or just call it quits? That's something that I don't have the answer to. But I would say the people that are successful, they don't quit. They get up every day, and in spite of how they are feeling, when they have a problem, they just keep on going. They have the ability to reframe whatever problem they do have, and they keep on going. My father, I'm going to tell this story really quickly. My father, one of my friends, I met her when I was working at the record company. She's one of my best friends to this day. She's probably going to kill me for telling this story, but I'm not going to tell details, but she was having a hard time one day after work. She was crying a lot. And my dad saw her. He was like, don't you ever let me see you crying like that. You better keep on trucking. So he went and he bought her a base plate, and he bought her a little, like a Hot Wheels 4x4 like truck, this big truck with big wheels. He stuck it on the base plate and he had it engraved. And it said, keep trucking. So those people that have problems and they keep trucking anyway, in spite of their problems, those are the people that are successful. Like I said, nobody can climb to the top of a smooth mountain. If you continue to keep on climbing and keep on going, you are bound to be successful. That's law. There's nowhere to go but up. Life has its ups and downs, but if you go down, you have to go up. So just keep on going, keep trucking.
Let me stay with that. I mean, with success, you just talked about going up and then keep trying, because unless you try, that's the only time I think you fail, if you stop trying. So it doesn't mean you lose, you learn from any mistakes or any failures. So as long as you keep going. So, I mean, there is this saying that I really like, and if we can build on it, sometimes that success is understanding the difference between what you need and want. So if you can expand on that a little bit more.
So sometimes the success is understanding the difference between what you need and what you want. So the way that I feel about any quote is it depends on who's listening to it, because I can hear that quote today and get one lesson out of it, and I can hear that same quote next week and get a whole different lesson. So it depends on what the receiver has to get from a quote. So today, when I hear that quote and I hear success is, say it again, what you...
Is understanding the difference between what you need and what you want.
That could mean multiple things. So sitting here today, understanding what I need. Let's use the example about losing weight. You may need to lose weight. You may need to get up early and have discipline and eat right, eat a salad, eat, healthy, drink more water, get enough sleep. But you may want that ice cream. So if you look at success and getting to the end of that road, will that ice cream get you to where you need to go? Probably not. But if that ice cream can keep you sane, maybe if it can give you a little balance, because sometimes you need balance. You may not need balance this week, but maybe next week you need that balance. So next week I can have 1 spoon of ice cream and I can still reach my goal. So it really, it depends on what you need. So everyone, when you hear quotes, you have to take those quotes and take from those quotes what you need from it in that moment.
Okay, I'm going to ask you one more question, and then Ms. Ghana, I'm going to come to you for that one. You have talked at the beginning about your daughter, and she herself, very accomplished young lady. So what did you instill in her, or tell us a little bit about your daughter, what she has accomplished, and then you can tell us what you did to instill that.
Oh, well, so my daughter, she's such a dynamic person, but she has created a social media account where she has currently over 4.7 million followers, and she has the ability, she's gotten sponsorships. She has now 9 streams of income from that social media account. So in order to get there, it was more about, if you're going to be on the phone, which we all use our cell phones, I want you to use this phone as a tool. Use it as a tool to do something great. Don't just sit there and mindlessly, play games or do whatever you're doing. I want you to use it as a tool to be great. So I think the biggest thing that we as parents or as adults can do for our children, well, one thing, there's so many things, so many lessons and experiences I think that I've been blessed to been able to give her, but to give her the confidence to know that whatever she would like to do, that she can do it. So I think that's primarily what I try to instill in her. So, yeah.
Thank you. Ms. Ghana, come back. What question do you have for Dr. Mallet?
My question was, being, a woman of color, have you ever felt the need during your journey to kind of have to prove yourself to others, or just like not feeling like your efforts are enough, and how do you overcome that, or how have you overcome that?
Oh, yes, all of the time, because, there's been times in my life where I have felt like I've been treated differently or unfairly. But at the end of the day, it's not about me. That's their thing. Shame on them for having that opinion or not getting to know me or not seeing who I truly am. So those things have bothered me as an adult, because growing up, I didn't even see a difference, because that's the type of upbringing I had. Yeah, I went to private school, Catholic school. So, we were all raised that we were all the same. So I never knew that there was a difference until I got older. I went to college in Louisiana, and I was in for a little surprise because everybody didn't see us as the same. So I have had experiences that were less than favorable, but it's never about you. It's about that other person. And again, I'm big on reframing a problem. So when I have a problem, it bothers me. True, it does. Things get to me because I'm human. But the ability, again, I'll say this, the ability to reframe a problem is huge. It's big. And actually, I'm writing my book, and my book is all about that, reframing your problems and using that as a system for success. So, yeah, I hope that answered your question. Did that answer your question?
Yes, it did. Thank you.
Rosie, what's your next question?
My next question is when people, or a lot of times when you start new things, or when you try to get
Speak up a little bit more.
What?
Speak up more.
Oh, okay. So when you get into your idea, like, or your goal, or where you start to achieve it, failure is a very common thing, and sometimes it's just overwhelming to like think about continuing. How do you think, is it worth like trying again, or is there any way you can like overcome that?
So that's a great question. And I remember when, and this was years ago, I ran for Miss Inglewood. I was in a pageant. I actually wrote a speech, and it addressed this very thing. And one of the lines in the speech that I wrote was, if you are building a business and you fail the first time, and then you start the business again, or even if you start a different business, have you failed, or have you discovered how to start a business for the second time around? So it depends on how you look at it. Again, it's about reframing your mind. It's not a failure, it's learning the process. So if you look at it in a different way and say, hey, that didn't work, now I have to go back and retool and re-strategize, this time I will be successful. And then if it doesn't work this second time, there's something else that you have to tweak and change so that you are successful for the third time. So something will always come up that you have to change. And remember no one can climb to the top of a smooth mountain. When there's a bump, that's just part of your journey to the top. So it's about reframing.
Thank you. Definitely, I like that reframing part. Let me add to it, because I do love on your bio, one thing that you said is like just changing from how do you say, from a traumatic experience into the perfect prescription for life to success, you said. And sometimes everybody goes through certain kind of challenges, but some of them are very traumatic. So how do you define, or when you're working with the group of people that have gone through some kind of traumatic experience, how do you use that, or what is your tool that you use in order to help them get out of that?
Okay, so first I want to say I'm not a psychologist or a therapist or anything like that. So my expertise in this area is from, one, working with thousands of students, mentoring people, training people, things like that. This is part of what I'm writing in my book, my system that I'm coming out with. So it's all rooted in creative problem solving. And there are specific steps that you can take in order to reframe that. So if someone has trauma, like severe trauma that they need to work with, I would suggest that you seek out a professional to talk with that. But if you want to take a challenge that you have been through in your life, a problem, then I definitely, I have a prescription for that for sure.
Okay. Addis, questions for you. What's your next question? You're muted.
That was such an amateur move. I should be a pro by now.
There you go.
Yeah, but thank you, Dr. Mari. The last question I have is, what are the top 3 strategies that you would recommend for a person to develop throughout their lives?
So let me just see if I understand your question. So the top 3 strategies for
a person to practice throughout their life.
Okay, so what are they trying to for success or
for success? I'm sorry, for success.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure I understood your question.
Yes.
That's perfectly fine. So I would say the top 3 strategies. 1, be consistent. Have accountability, someone that you can, that will hold you accountable, and 2, get a mentor. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Consistency, I think, is a key one. I just want to build on that, what you just said. A lot of people can say, I'm going to do A, B, C, D. But if they do not maintain it, they're not going to be able to see the growth, because all of us, sometimes we rush in, we do something, we want it, and we want it now. So how do you have that consistency and then have a goal to reach it, and then to do every single day what you need to do? So how do you set that mindset in order to be consistent and build on that every single day?
How do you
build it, or how do you find that consistency to do it? Because sometimes things may come up that you're going to give up, or you want something, and then if you don't have it, you get discouraged right away. But being consistent and building on what you already need to do, the steps, how do you set that mindset?
So I would say it really depends on, the individual and what your goal is and what you want. But in order to stay consistent, again, you have to have a strong why. It has to be something that you truly, really want to go after. Because if it's something that could easily, could come and go at any time, you won't be consistent. You'll just stop. You won't be committed to it. The next new idea that comes up, you'll be gone in the wind. So it has to be something that you would be committed to doing for the long haul. But then when it changes, it changes. It's just like going to school. All of you here have, done a test, you've studied for something, you've written a paper. You have all of these things that you've already done. Look at what you've done thus far to consistently start and finish something. So
you're all watching the Yoftahe Show on YouTube Live and Facebook. Invite your friends and family so that they can spend time with us. I'm going to ask Dr. Mallet one more question, and then I'm going to come to all of you back, Rosie, Mskan, and Addis, to see what are you taking from this. And then if you do know, only you can answer if you did find your why for yourself, but you don't have to answer it. I just want you to think about that while Dr. Mallet, I'm asking her the next question. So as a leader, because in all of us, there is a moment to be called that we're going to have to answer for. And then there are the moment that sometimes that we have to follow. Or so how do you pick when do you lead and when do you follow?
I would say it depends on the situation. But for me, a leader can go into any situation and know their role. So, for example, the president of the United States can go into another country and they know when they go into that other country, they're not the leader of that country, but back at home, they're the leader of the United States. So if I'm going into, any arena and that's not my domain, I'm not the head person, I'm not leading the charge that day, I have to accept that and be a leader. I can lead from behind. A leader doesn't always have to be the person in the forefront. You can lead from wherever you are. A leader doesn't have to, it's not a positional thing. It's who you are on the inside. That's what makes you a leader. Nothing else, in my opinion. So
That's good. And I like that because, and then I always add this quote, if you have to walk into a room and say, I am the leader, if you have to declare it, that means you're not a leader yet. So,
yeah.
so people have to know what you do, how you command, how you live your life, just like Dr. Mallet said, it could be from behind, the influence that you do it. So if you have to declare everywhere you go and say, I am the leader, you're not a leader yet. I'll tell you, just a bad leader. But Ms. Ghana, so far you have learned, what do you think you have taken from what you have learned so far? And then have you find your why, or like I said, you don't have to answer that. But if you did find that why that then you can share that with us.
I think some of the main things I learned was just to go into things without hesitation and not being afraid to pursue a journey that's not always straight or, a direct A to B, and be willing to try new things that can take you to different places. But in the end, if you just, like you said, stay consistent and just have a goal of success in whatever you do, just be willing to go wherever your path takes you.
Do you want to share your why, or you want to come back to it another time?
I'll come back to it.
Okay. Rosie, what have you learned so far?
I think the most important thing I've taken from these is that commitment is like really the key to success. If you don't really put your mind into it and really go for it and go back and, try as much as you can. And also, I've never heard of the concept like find your why before. And that really opened my mind into thinking bigger and wider, because I never really knew, like, this is like a really good way for me to see, like, now I, like, when I think about my why, I'm like, yeah, this has to happen,
Good. I like that. Addis, what have you learned so far? You're muted.
Thank you again, Dr. Mallet, for your time and your sharing your expertise and wisdom. You've mentioned a lot of important pieces. The most important that stuck to me the most, and that I'm a firm believer of, is relationships, and how powerful that is, because it helps you build that trust and comfort to help you reach your goals and help the other party reach their goals, and just strengthen that relationship. And I've seen the power of that multiple times, and could only see more good outcomes from it. And would that answer the question?
Yeah. And then if you want to share if you did find your why or not. or we can come back to that.
I believe the when I was listening to this conversation, the why that I believe is understanding why we have challenges and how important it is to understand that so that it could strengthen us to become a better example for others and and so that we may be able to guide them as well.
That's good. Dr. Mallet, I really thank you for being here with all of us and then guiding the youth with the questions that they have. And I was looking on your website, which I really love. The first thing that comes out, it says empowering people to monetize their purpose. So what does that mean? If you can tell us a little bit more about what does that mean?
So that's making, when you have experience, expertise, and interest, you want to get paid to do it, right? So that's what I help people do. So that's what I empower people to do. So that's it. Yeah.
I like that. So we all learned so much tonight. We're almost coming into the end of the show. So I'm going to ask all of you almost a similar question, and then I'll come back to Dr. Mallet to close us off. Tell us a little bit what you do, what your passion is, and what you're doing from here on or in your group to influence your friends around you. What kind of things or what kind of communication do you think you need to have in order to pretty much what kind of communication do you have, and then what are you taking from this and how you're trying to influence your group of friends? So Ms. Ghana, if I can ask with you.
Yeah, so like I said before, I'm a neuroscience major, and I am on the pre-med track, so I hope to go to medical school one day and become a pediatrician. And I'm a firm believer that, who you surround yourself with is the kind of person that you're going to be. So I do like to surround myself with friends who have goals and passions in life, and just they want to be successful in whatever they do in the future. So I do like to maintain a good work ethic and just try my best, like I said, to surround myself with people who have the same goals as me.
Awesome.
Thank you. Rosie, same questions to you.
I believe me and my friends mostly work together to accomplish our goal, because usually me and my friends, we have the same goal. We want to do the same things in life, and we have like ideas, and we put it to work, and we try our best, but mainly we help each other. We work together to achieve our goal, and whenever someone needs a pat in the back, we just help each other. It's like important for us to stay there and be there for one another.
Addis, the same question to you.
Yes, I'm sorry. Can you repeat the question again?
So from what you have, I know, actually, let me rephrase a little bit the question differently for you, because I know you already started working on your own nonprofit, and I think you already found your why and that purpose. So tell us a little bit in short about what you want to accomplish, and then what you're taking from this, maybe you can add to that.
Yes, this experience has definitely empowered me a lot towards being persistent and determined to reach my goal or continue developing my goal of creating not only creating a nonprofit organization, which is called Able Mindset, and it's an organization that is aimed to mentor and advocate for children living with paralysis in Ethiopia, because I believe that it's a population that's not given much opportunities, because there's already so many challenges that people are trying to overcome, that sometimes this voice or this population is very marginalized and have limited opportunities or community to connect with. So I hope by visiting there this May, I can help create some positive action plans and planning to make the mission possible of supporting others or mentoring. And yeah.
I love it. Congratulations on everything you're doing with that.
Thank you so much. I'd love to keep you updated and share my experiences with you.
Absolutely.
Yep, we'll come back. We'll have you back on the show to talk about everything that you have accomplished. He's a very determined mind that he's been able to accomplish so much with every challenges that he has gone. So I'm really, really proud of you, Addis, and all of you. There's a question from Dex. Actually, Dex is my mentor for me. I've learned so much from this gentleman. So thank you, Dex, for being here. He's one of the leaders also in our community. So Dr. Mallet, if I can ask you this question from Dex, he's saying, what is the difference between why and purpose?
Okay, so I believe the difference between your why and your purpose is your purpose is what you are on earth to do, what you have to carry out, like your mission. Your why is what motivates you to do it. That's the difference.
Okay, thank you very much. So to close us off, I'm gonna just ask you, it's a pleasure having you here, and definitely an honor taking you from your busy times to be here. One, if you can tell us, for anybody who wants to connect with you, where they can find you, and then any final word of advice that you can give to our 3 young leaders here, and then to the audience who are watching.
Yeah, so if you would like to send me an email to support at drmonicamallet.com, just support, SUPPORT at Dr. DrMonicaMallet.com. I will send you a little gift, and just mention the show in the subject line, and I will send you a special gift just for your viewers only. And my closing words to the 3 brilliant youth leaders that you have here today are, whatever you have in your heart, go after it and don't stop until you make it happen. Get the right support, make it happen, and it will happen for you. And just don't stop. Keep trucking. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you. I like that. This is another person that was my mentor, Addis. I'm so happy that she's here. She guided me through whatever I need to go through. So I want to acknowledge her in front of everyone. She's someone every time that I need something that I call to. So we all have to have a mentor. We all have someone who can keep us grounded and help us through our journey. And I do have also that person as a sister and as a guide. So thank you, Addis, for being here. And she's saying you're all going places. A way to go. I agree with that. We're coming to our end of our show. This is Yoftahe Mulatu from the Yoftahe Show. So all I ask from everyone, from myself, I learned so much from Dr. Mallet, and I also learned from all of you. You cannot do everything. Just pick one from everything you heard today. If you apply one new thing for tomorrow, you have accomplished. You are on the right track. So don't get overwhelmed with whatever you have learned. You can go back and watch this video, take note, and then just apply one new thing from what you learned today that you didn't know yesterday. I love it. Rosie said, I didn't even know about the why, asking the why. You and I will be talking more about those whys. So expect that phone call. So all of you, you will go ways your leaders in your community. So I really, really thank you for being here. We'll be having another program, like I said, the Use Mindset. It's going to be, I'm trying to do it every Wednesday if possible, but if not, we're going to do it every other Wednesday. And then this Saturday at 12 o'clock Eastern time, everything is going into the cloud. It doesn't mean we're dreaming, but the cloud system, cloud computing, we're going to be bringing 2 experts to talk about what cloud computing is. So join us again at 12 o'clock Eastern time on a Saturday. Until then, I want to say to all of you, bless you for being here. And I hope to see you all again on a different program. Dr. Mallet again, I really appreciate you. So we'll stay in contact and stay in touch again on Instagram and everywhere. So once again, thank you. This is the Yoftahe Show. Please share and comment any question that you have. And I wish you all a blessed night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.